what a wee lad I was. 30. Oh, this picture's 30 years ago. This picture's actually 29 years ago. This is my 1991 birthday picture. That's right. Good old JM was actually a kid once back in, and of course my phone's ringing because it has to be when it's live. Mucker fudder. Anyway, from there in 1991 all the way 2020. That's right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Meacham Network, here on NoDQ.com and the Greg Cherry brand. And yes, that is the very same bandana you see in this picture. It fits. I'm wearing it. I don't give a shit because it's my anniversary, damn it. And it's my party, and I'll be dorky if I want to. 30 years. Like, I can't even process the notion that it was 30 years ago on this day at the Mitchell Eagles after-school daycare program at my elementary school, Mitchell Community School, for those of you that don't know where I'm from, or where I've come from, I should say. And kid brought a figure into the after-school daycare. One of those Lex Luger Galoob figures that they had back in '90 when all WWE figures looked like this. They all had a similar kind of pose there. Kid brought a Lex Luger. I couldn't tell you the kid to save my life. I'm going to hate myself for not knowing which kid it was. Doesn't really matter, I guess. And I said, what is that about? And he explained what wrestling was and what the entertainment and the pageantry and all that. And I said, that's pretty cool. Of course, back then you think it's all legitimate competitions, so it's a wonder. And the very next day, October 6, 1990, I watched the episode of WWF Superstars of Wrestling. The rest is history. I saw those guys, and I was hooked. I find the irony of a WCW figure leading me to WWF Superstars Wrestling. The irony is not lost on me one bit. I didn't actually watch a full WCW program until this guy actually crossed over in 1994. And that picture that I showed at the very top of the show, which I'll throw it up there one more time just because it's so damn crazy. I actually was also wearing this exact same outfit in 1994 in July when Hulk made his debut at the Bash at the Beach to face Ric Flair for the WCW Championship. And our cable company lost the feed. Couldn't pick up the feed, so I didn't get to see Hulk's first WCW match as it happened. I had to wait however long it was for a replay or even a home video back in the day when Turner released it. I don't remember, to be honest with you, but it was a long time before I got to see it. So Caleb Jacobs with a $2.38 super chat. Thank you for that on the No DQ side of things. I appreciate that. Caleb says, here's to another 30 years. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much, Caleb. I appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff coming in. Let me go ahead and get to everybody's quote comments right now. Cleaver Collins says, great salutations. Thank you, sir. Big G says, what up, players? Hello, Big G. Shane says, you the man, Jeff, and you also, Aaron. Well, appreciate that. Aaron is probably not here. He's probably eating dinner, and that's fine. Big G says, how's it going, G? And they go back and forth there from there. Nathan says, hello again, Jeff. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Shane says, Jeff, if you and Aaron were a tag team, what would your team name be? Get back to you on that. Let's see. Big G said, here's another 30 years. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Big G. Hang on a second.
Nice.
Patrick, I'm live on the air. I'll have to call you back.
Hello?
I am live on the air. Dylan's not here.
I called you, you called me.
You called me.
Oh, my accident, my bad.
Okay, yeah, I'm on the air, bud.
I was trying to get to my Spotify on burner one hand and pull the other trying to do it with one finger, so.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right, yeah. I'll have Dylan call you when he gets home.
What are you doing?
Still with his mother?
It's Monday, it's school time.
He's off school.
Alright, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, put that thing on not disturb. Anyway, yeah, just another 30. Thank you, Big G. I appreciate that. It's not my birthday, but we'll go ahead and use the quote. I'll get to the questions about current product in a little while, Manuel, so keep that in mind as we go along here. The other thing says, thank you. Congrats, Jeff. Nando says, happy Monday, Jeff. Hello. Nathan says, my first figure was Sting. Okay, so you're in the same boat I am as far as the time frame of FANDOM, and he says it came with a trading card and the WCW belt. Wow. That's I have somewhere either in this house or the other house, the entire WCW card set. Crazy how I got those over the course of time. Cleaver says, crazy, I've been watching you for 13 out of those 30. Yeah, it's weird that I've been doing these shows for 18 years total. I actually, this month, I think it's the 25th. Aaron can back me up on that to make sure. But 18 years ago this month, I want to say it's the 25th, the 28th, something like that, was my first, our first podcast for NoDQ.com. So October's a great month. I love October. Nathan says, how old are you, Jeff? I'm 35. I'm actually 37. I turned 37 back in March. So I was a wee lad of 7 when I discovered the business. So it's crazy. But a guy who's been just waiting in the green room, oh so patiently, as he do, has been waiting to come on in and join the shenanigans, as we call it on the Constantine Studios anyway, and on Down to Wrestling, let's be honest. Came into a fandom much later than I did, but is no less a fan than I am, and he's been with me for a good chunk of the ride as far as the podcasting goes. Renegade, what's up, brother?
What's going on, sir?
Good to see you, my friend.
Nice to be seen. Nice to be seen.
You know. So it's crazy. Colin mentioned, it's been, he's been watching me for 13 of these 30 years. You've been a fan roughly now for 22 years? No.
Give or take.
98. Yeah, give or take a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I got into wrestling.
So you came in during the right. Go ahead.
It was around SummerSlam in '98. It was leading into the Highway to Hell.
Beautiful. That was a hell of a time. The hell of a time to get into the business was during that whole Monday Night Wars Attitude Era time frame, because the business was just exploding at that point. It was just crazy. And for a fan of mine, for a fan like I was, where I had watched, during the quote-unquote the dark ages, and I loved it. I loved the New Generation era. I loved the early Nitros. I loved all that stuff. I had no idea there was a world outside of the WWF when it came to wrestling until, like I said, Hulk Hogan crossed over. Even though I was aware of Sting and where Ric Flair came from when he came in '91, the real world champion. I knew where he came from, but I wasn't aware of it. You came in, Nitro was still cooking with gas. WWF had already started to overtake them for good, and you've been blessed and cursed to see the very highest of highs and, quite frankly, the very lowest of lows in the wrestling business, for sure.
The WCW empire was steadily starting to crumble.
Yes.
When I started to come in.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird to think about, going back to revisit some of these old pay-per-views, even the ones that I've seen before.
Right.
In doing the homework that I do for our top 10 lists.
Yes. It's
just blows my mind sometimes to go back and revisit some of that product, because there's definitely, to take a phrase from the WWE Network, there's definitely hidden gems scattered throughout the dark ages, if you will, of WWF.
Yes. Yeah, people really crap on the early '90s / even the late '80s when Hulk was still really prominent. That, as far as the match quality was so good, and even the I would say really the last peak, if you will, of the WWF in those days was WrestleMania 7, when they had it here in LA, and it was supposed to be the Coliseum, but because of death, threats, threat, and slaughter, poor ticket sales, they had to move to the sports arena, and that WrestleMania for me will always be close to my heart, because it was my first ever pay-per-view I ever ordered. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the fever of the fans that night, they were really on fire. And if you move to the next show, SummerSlam, not so much. So it was starting to decline, for sure. And before you get to I knew you got an answer ready, but I got to throw it up there because I just saw it. Nathan says, my first WWF action figure was Jake the Snake, and the figure came with a rubber python snake, which was a plus. I actually have, again, somewhere in this menagerie of shit, the full-length rubber Damien that I bought at. I bought that shit at the freaking house show. I want to say it was the June house show, but it may have been October because October he was already a heel, so I may not have liked him then. But I've got it somewhere. It scared more than one female of my household over the last 30 years for sure. Good stuff. Anyway, there you go. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But yeah,
I love the old action figures. I still have some scattered around my house, even though I'm not as into it these days.
Right.
I've still got some scattered around my house, autographed by the specific superstars, because that was my thing back in the day.
Yep.
You remember? You saw the hallway when
I remember. I remember.
The shrine, if you will, of all the autographed wrestling figures.
Yes. Crazy. I had a big collection. You and I both know about that, and we had to make rent. So it is what it is. But I've got a whole, not in this house, at the other house now waiting for us to return, is my entire bin of what used to be Dylan's figures, but I have learned recently that he has fallen out of love with the business again. So he's kind of doing his own thing and doing the Fortnite thing and the various other things he does as a 12-year-old in 2020. So I guess they kind of just, I mean, I guess it's kind of defaulted to me by default. But Nathan says I have the WWF ring from '98. I have the WWF ring from 1990. the big blue monstrosity with the cage. Let me be clear. I had the big blue, baby. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my god, crazy.
Big blue.
And you know, it's funny. We've been
in my house, Big Blue has a completely different meaning.
Yes, it does. It's funny. You and I have been involved enough to know that what it takes to build a ring, what it takes to build a steel cage. Big Blue, as much as the guys complain about using it in a match, Big Blue is a bitch to carry. It is. Those Big Blue cages are no joke, man. They are murder on your arms, on your back. It's terrible. So I totally understand the desire to use the mesh cage instead, because damn, those.
I believe it.
Oh, and you know, and of course, I forgive me if you were there. I remember if you would be there. Were you there for Adrenaline when I did the commentary?
No.
Okay. We had a 6-sided ring, which means we had to put together a 6-sided ring. Those beams and that's because you remember 6-sided ring, you have to evenly distribute the weight throughout the whole ring. Oh my! If I ever get booked again on a show, ever, I will put it in my makeup. No ring building if 6-sided ring, because damn, like. By the time we finished building it, I had to literally go into, it was a rodeo ring. I had to go into the freaking rodeo clowns' showers and just hose off, because I'm going to be on camera with the can. I'm going to be a commentator. I look like I got hit by a truck and the truck done run me over with a freaking mud pile. It was terrible.
Wow.
It was awful, and it was heavy. The whole thing was just so goddamn, and it wasn't like the truck was parked close to the ring area. Of course not. It'd be too easy, because it's a big rodeo arena, so we couldn't pull the truck in to the rodeo area. We had to carry it all the way from, it had to be a good 100 or so yards. So beam by beam, brick by brick, step by step. It was terrible. I will never, ever again do that if I can help it.
That's nuts.
I've never seen these myself, Shane. Have anybody have any of the AWA figures from the 80s? I have not even seen those except online. No. I've never seen them on like a comic thing or a swap meet. I've never seen any of those ever. So.
No, I never had any AWA figures. I had some WCW ones.
There you go.
I had some ECW ones.
Ooh, I didn't have those.
WW ones, not the WWECWs.
Yes. Yeah,
and
somewhere.
Of course, I have the Jack's Pacifics.
Yes.
From WWF and then WWE.
That's it.
The bone crushing action.
Yes. And lest we forget the ones that actually squirted water out of their hands.
No, I didn't have those.
What were they called? Shout. I forget. And yeah, they're like in full on like military camo gear and freaking like they actually had they had like guns and like their hands. It was weird. The whole thing was freaking weird. You know, all kinds of shit. Oh man, Shane says he had all the W figures but lost them all in a fire. That sucks.
Yeah, that's gotta suck.
Man, fire is no joke, brother. I mean, you and I had a friend that recently had to get temporarily evacuated. So it's no joke, man. Fires are killer.
The lady killer actually had somebody set fire to his garage back in the day, and a bunch of his wrestling figures got destroyed that way.
Damn, that's crazy. Here we go. I had the WCW magazines and WWE magazines from 2. Did you collect those?
I did. I definitely
I did too. But
and I had the ECW magazines.
Oh, there you go.
I had the WOW magazine, the World of Wrestling ones.
Oh, I got a couple of those.
All 3 into one super magazine.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I know it's here. I just don't know where it is offhand. My first magazine, and I'll see if I can find a picture of it so I can show you guys, because at least I'll have a picture of it for the show today. Back in 1990, when I first, again, 30 years now, I first discovered the business. The magazine was out. It was a huge commodity. Everybody loved the magazine back in the day. And the first magazine I actually got was the December 1990 edition of the WWF magazine with, that's a horrible picture. It's really low quality. Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich on it with the Intercontinental Championship belt. He was the champion, and I had that magazine for many years. Unfortunately, having a brother who had struggles with his behavior issues and his mental makeup in general, he went on one of many tirades and rage moments and shredded that magazine to bits. Completely. He was maybe 4 years old, maybe even less. So he was just completely gone. Fast forward about, I want to say before I moved in with you guys, so at least 10 years ago now, for Christmas one year, my brother had me open a package, and inside was this issue. And he had found it. It was a pristine condition, which it still is to this day. Damn near mint, except for being, put in the plastic and whatnot. But yeah, I've had that magazine ever since. So that magazine, except for a few years I didn't have it, is 30 years old. So I've got that. Like I said, it's somewhere in this pile of shit I've got in my room right now. But yeah, I got that. I've got this, which I want to say I bought this at, I think it was the June 91 house show against Slaughter, the Desert Storm match at the Sports Arena. So I've had this for 29 years. So couldn't find the tank top. We know it's here somewhere, but we couldn't find that tank top anywhere. But it's here somewhere.
Not like it would still fit you, brother.
Well, no. That's why I got the Meacham Mania shirt, which you can buy at teespring.com/stores/Jeff-Meacham-network. Boom. However, it's not up yet, but we are in the process of moving the entire Jeff Meacham Network catalog to the Greg Cherry brand. Long story short, my graphics guy has gone AWOL. Don't know where he is. Haven't talked to him. He won't answer messages, so we're moving shop. So that way you guys can get quality products, you guys can get product on time, and you're paying $5 less because he was charging $25. It's like, that's silly. So anyway, let's see here. What we got here? I had the WCW action figures before, and Hogan was a member of the NWO. The figures were in one stance. Yep, the big ones. They were big, and the figures were getting marks on them, cheaply made. Yep, those were terrible. I've got a Hulk Hogan figure from that era that my brother owned that looks like he had been doctored up by forensic evidence. The guy's a mess. He's a mess. So the rare yellow, I remember that. Do you remember a yellow Hasbro ring? I don't remember that at all.
No, that was before my time.
Before my time, I guess. I don't remember that at all.
Because by the time I got into it, it was all Jakks Pacific.
Right, that's true. Mr. Yuck says, my first live show on the 11th on his 11th birthday, Andre versus Big John Studd in Green Bay, front row. Holy moly. I hit Andre on the back with my hacksaw Jim Duggan 2x4. He turned around and I pissed my cross-colored pants. No lie. You know, if Andre wheeled around on me, I'd be pooping my pants for sure. That goes without saying. Yeah. Wow, holy cow. Let's see. Okay. Apparently, the King of the Ring was yellow, so that's why I didn't. I had the basic blue from Hasbro from the 90s. Do you have any Iron Sheik figures or merch? I don't think I had any Sheik stuff, which is a bummer. I wish I did.
Mad was a cheeky baby, but I never had any of his stuff.
No, all right, wait a minute. Let me take back from Bruce Pritchard that he stole from us. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Very good.
See, my main thing, and I know Jeff, you know this, but for the fans out there watching, my main thing when it came to buying figures was I bought figures for the people that I met.
Right.
And sometimes I would be lucky enough to know I was going to meet somebody, find one, and I would have them sign the package. Other times I had a display. That's what I was talking about Big Blue earlier.
Right.
My daughter's mom had made this huge bookcase that I displayed all my wrestling figures on. And that was my Big Blue. Now it houses my movie collection in the garage.
Right.
But Jeff members, that thing top to bottom was full of loose action figures, organized by the order I met the superstars.
Yep.
All kinds of loose figures on there.
Yeah, not only did he have that, he had a special Piper's Pit themed ring that housed They Who Have Moved On. Like, I was like, damn, I'm looking.
Prior to Piper passing,
right.
Piper was the host of the pit, and everybody in the ring was the frat that had moved on from this plane of existence.
Right.
So it had like Blue Blazer, it had Davy Boy, it had, the list goes on and on.
And
memories.
See, by the time Roddy passed, you had kind of wavered off a little bit from the fandom.
Yeah.
So
I had stopped watching current product. I would say I probably had a 15-year run as an active fan.
That's about right. Give you your 2013. That's about right.
And and Piper passed, I want to say it was 15?
Yes. Weeks, maybe even days after Dusty.
So
a shitty
I'd
summer.
already been out of the game for a couple of years by then. But man, those were some good memories going out and buying all those figures. Like I said, I had the WCW Toy Biz ones.
Oh, wow.
Because those were the ones that were more posable. They were supposed to compete with the Jack Pacific. I remember I had the Hardcore Hack Sandman figure from that line. It came with the barbed wire you could wrap around him.
Absolutely.
And the stick.
I saw more than one of those the day he did the signing for us. I
had the Stainer figure from that line.
There you go. Somewhere, again in the collection here, I don't know if it's here buried or over there buried, is the Toy Biz like 1999 figure of Hogan with the red and yellow back on. His first red and yellow figure in 3 years. So it was a sought after thing. Did I open it? Of course, because I'm an idiot. But, what are you going to do? Okay, here's really good questions, comments here. Psycho Jet Black, I'll get to your question about better in their prime. Today's just kind of a kickback day. We're not really doing any hardcore question answering today, but if I get to it, I'll get to it. Big G is watching us and Friday the 13th. Which number are you on? Which part are you on, G? I'm way behind.
1 and 4. Those are the best two, in my opinion. 1 and 4.
Yeah, well, according to the Godfather, Bruce, 1 through 4 and 6. Anything else is what it is.
I definitely echo that statement, having seen them all.
Right. Let's see. Iron Claw. You mentioned him earlier, Jay. Look out. Do you collect the Jakks mid-90s Bone Cruncher figures? Any faves? I did for sure.
I had a few of them. I wouldn't say they were faves of mine because I definitely liked the more articulate, real scan that they did there when they started with the Titantron series,
which I love. The
and
Titantron series
started to move on. My favorite Bone Crusher that I had though was the Blue Blazer one. Yes, he was out of the package, but I bought him used. I didn't buy him in the package.
Right.
Because the figure was made, just before everything happened.
Right. I've got that figure somewhere. I may have sold it. I don't think I did, though. And I've got the last figure of Owen Hart as Owen Hart in a package with The Rock.
Nice.
Ironically enough, I got it at my work at Six Flags. It was one of the arcade prizes.
Oh, okay.
And I went to the boss. I'm like, look, you don't understand right now. Like, this is big for me. Like, what do I need to do to buy this straight off the wall? No games. What do you need from me? He goes, I need this. I'm like, there you go. There it is. And it's still in its case. It's still in the case. A little worn damage. I'm not gonna lie because of the way it was treated at the store, but it's still decent shape. I could probably get it decent if I really wanted to. I don't because I love Owen Hart, but it's still in a place of prominence, waiting to be displayed at the new house in the new studio when we get moved over there. So that'll be up then.
I want to say I got my Blue Blazer off of the Lady Killer, who in turn had bought it from 5-Star.
Oh, there you go.
Redonkulous $75, $80, $100 that RVD store was asking for.
Well, in that case, I can understand it because it's Rob and no one had passed, and whatever. But the Eddie figures, come on, Rob, killing me, Smalls. Shane says I have autographs from Tommy Rich, Jerry Lawler, Bill Bundy, Austin Idol. Oh, geez. Well, if we're gonna get autograph land, good lord, just the books alone. Hogan, Joni, Bobby, Mick, every single Mick memoir. Yes, all 5 of them. I think I may have got your copy of Scooter autograph. So if you want that, you can get it. I don't know if I brought that one or not to the last one. I think I did. Anyway, Foley, China,
Unfortunately,
Bobby.
most of my books got damaged.
Ooh,
and
that
are
sucks.
no longer in great condition.
Ugh, that sucks. Just the reins, or
yeah.
Ugh, okay, bummer.
The only book I think I still have signed that's in pristine condition is Regal's.
Right. Somewhere I know that Roddy autographed one to Jerry. That I don't know if I have it in my possession or if it's at the other house. I don't know, but I ended up with it. I thought I did. I might not have though.
With autographs, yeah.
yeah. And this is back when you didn't have to sell a kidney to get a freaking autograph from these legends like you do now.
Right? Like, we could sit here for 2.5 hours just talking about who we have autographs from because
and the stories around the sessions at that.
Virtually every access we went to,
right,
there was an autograph and a picture for evidence.
Right.
And then there's the countless other shows where we would pull up. Sometimes we would try to get an autograph. Other times it was pictures. Sometimes it was promos we were seeking.
Yep.
But yeah, sometimes I wish I still had all those.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they it's those books are awesome, especially when you know that for the most part they put a lot of themselves into those memoirs, into those books, especially Mick. I mean, Mick Foley, I have his entire written memoir set, and I got your copy of Scooter, like I said. It's cool to look back on that stuff and to, kind of relive it through their eyes, right? It's kind of it's different. I like it, and to be able to present that to them and to show that person that you care, show that person that you actually enjoyed their work, enjoyed their time in the business, enjoyed their the impact they made on you and your own life. I think it just rewards them, honestly.
Very much so. I remember when I got the book signed by Regal, and he was just like flabbergasted because it wasn't widely released out here in the States.
No.
And he was like, you got this? And I was like, absolutely. And you could just kind of see him go from trying to be hard-nosed, Regal, and stay in character to genuinely smiling and being happy, like somebody bought my book and they want me to sign it.
Yeah. Did you ever present him the figure, the rare figure that you had like in a little bitty box by itself? Did you ever see that from your collection?
No, I don't think so.
Because that would have been something. Because that I'd never even seen that before I moved into your ass ever. Like I was like, what the hell is this shit? Yeah, it was a very rare figure, but very cool. Very cool. I dug it. I wanted so bad to get my hands on the rare Hasbro figure that had Hulk like this, but with the red on. Because that was like a rare, like one of how many print from Hasbro that I never saw. Yeah, I got a chaser type thing. Exactly. I got to get my hand on that. Here's a great question.
Okay.
For each of you, who is the first wrestler you met in person?
Okay.
I will throw it to you first.
It was one of two. I don't remember which one was first. I would say we could throw to Stat Boy because he was there for both of them, but he's probably shit-faced in the middle of the desert right now.
Actually, he's probably shit-faced in Coach right now.
So,
anyway,
but it was a toss-up between Sting.
Oh! Mention his name and appear he does.
Wow. It's a toss-up though between Sting and Brett.
Okay, Mikey, we can't hear you. Can you hear us?
You can't
we
hear
can't
me.
hear you, brother. No, there he goes. There he goes. Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
The question was posed to the question was posed to JJ. Who was the first wrestler he met? It said it was down to two. I could throw to Stat Boy because I know he would know. And as soon as he said that, you popped up like, oh shit! There you go. Did he meet Sting first or Brett first?
We met Sting first. We didn't meet. Sting was the first one at Tower Records.
They were both at Tower Records. I remembered that, and I just couldn't remember the chronological. If it was Sting first or if it was Brett first.
Yeah, we met Sting first, and there were no pictures that day, or there weren't supposed to be any pictures, but the Brett experience was much more fun.
Yeah. I do remember that because Brett was there promoting Wrestling with Shadows, which was getting ready to air.
And then Sting was there, and then the next night we met Sting. He went Wolfpack.
Wow. Okay, so both of yours was Sting at the same time then.
What was that?
Well, Mikey had been a fan for a lot longer, so it's very possible he had met wrestlers prior to Sting. But for me, it was Sting at Tower Records.
Nope. All right. Well, Mikey, before you answer, cover your nose. Damn it. Okay.
Picky.
No, not picky. God damn it.
Even from another state, you're bothering me. It's my birthday, doggone it! Come on.
Well, happy birthday to you. But cover your nose, damn it.
Sir.
Here, cheers, Mikey. There you go. Cheers for that.
Cheers. Yeah, trust me, I'll be drinking later.
It's a White Claw, really. It is.
It is. But
So
yeah,
Mike,
Sting was my first, just like everybody else's.
Well, not mine. Okay. It really depends on how you define meat. And I'll explain why. We went to, like I said, my brother and my dad and I went to the WWF house show in Junior 91 at the Sports Arena. God bless that horrible hole of a building, the Sports Arena. And may she rest in peace under the LAFC soccer team, which they can all kiss my ass down there. Love you, Christian. And and we were on the upper walkway, and there was like the lower loge area, and we were walking by, and my brother, who was not quite 4 yet, looked down and saw Tugboat walking around the lower promenade there, and Tugboat happened to look up at my brother and I and Dad, and my brother went like that, and Tugger, without missing a beat, went right back at us. So technically it was Tugboat. However, honestly, the first actual interaction, meet and greet I had as far as meeting somebody and talking to them and interacting with them face to face would have been 2000, actually, believe it or not. It was that far into my fandom, 10 years in, and it was, ironically enough, it was Taz.
Okay.
Now, there was a brief moment where I had the opportunity to meet a guy at the WCW house show who, he was like, I guess mid-card would be a definition for him at best. He was kind of a mid-card guy, kind of like whatever, and I even had his poster with me that I brought just in case I got to meet anybody. And he walked by, and my dad goes, "Why don't you get his autograph, son?" I said, he's not going to be worth a damn thing in a year and a half. Yeah, Steve Austin.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
What's funny is that I don't know if that's that 90s retro shirt site, or maybe it's a baby shop, has the image of Stunning Steve Austin as their image of Stunning Steve on that poster. It's like the past is always haunting me. Always. So I always feel like somebody's watching. Where are you exactly?
McCarran International Airport.
Okay, so you're actually in Vegas. Okay, cool. All right.
And let me tell you, this place has changed big time since the last time I was here.
No.
Duh.
Well, yeah. It's probably changed since last time I was there. I was there in March. Probably changed since then.
There's gaming behind me, and they're enclosed. The slot machines are not really out.
Well, it's mainly because people don't wear their goddamn mask properly. That is why we're stuck in this shit, Mikey.
It's not me.
It's not just you. It's everybody like you. Anyway, okay, here we are. Okay, great question since you're both here.
Okay.
What were your top two favorite, or top 2 or 3 superstars or independent stars you have got to meet? And before you answer, let me bring into the room Big Baller G. What up, G?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Everybody's here. The birthday boy's here up in Vegas. His face is covered, which is a good thing. You're out in public. That's good. Good job, Mikey. And all right, so I will ask Big G since he just got here. I'll ask him first, then I'll go around the room here. Your top 2 or 3 superstars or independent stars you have got to meet.
Well, I wrote in the comment section. I don't know, you guys haven't gotten to it yet, but it was late for me when I moved back to Maryland. MCW, the independent scene down there, they would bring in former WWE stars or ECW or TNA. And the first 3 people I met in that day was Jake the Snake Roberts, Devon Dudley, and I believe Caitlin, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
So, and every time I went down to MCW, they'd bring everybody in. They'd have, there was one show, I think MCW Legends or something like that, and they had brought in Goldberg one time and Sting, and yeah, they have a whole bunch of people that came through, and I've met quite a few. I met Mick Foley, and I had him sign my Funko Pop of Mick Foley, so which is very cool.
Very cool. So those are your top you've met. Who was your first you met? I saw your comment. For those of you, everybody missed the comment. Who was the first person you ever met wrestling wise?
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ah, damn, that's ridiculous how cool that is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky in that I didn't meet Jake as far as in any way, in person or otherwise, until after he got straight. So
yeah,
I feel very
here.
blessed in that way. Let me. Whoever's it's Mikey at the airport. Never mind, I forgot where it was. Okay, so let me bring in one more guy here, and then I'll get to the brothers, if you will. Cleaver, man, let me ask you, who was the first person you met in wrestling, and then How did and then who are your top favorites that you've met so far in wrestling?
My first guy I ever met was Coco Beware. The old Richfield
Nice.
Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. That was the first
Terminal
guy
one.
I met.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic because I shit on Coco so much. And I don't really mean to, but
I know.
The Birdman.
And what was the part two? What was part two?
your top 2 or 3 favorites you've met, independent or quote unquote superstars.
God.
This takes you to Terminal 1, and that's where you get picked up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because it was. Thanks.
Might want to hold on, sir.
This tram.
Let's see.
Hear
You said
that.
the top 2 or 3 that
Top
I
2
have
or
met?
3, yeah, right. Top 2 or
that
3.
I have met. Okay. Well, I did recently got to meet Tommaso Ciampa
Ooh,
ringside at Takeover Warren, and also Matt Riddle that night too. So those 2 are going to be on the top because it's the most recent.
Right.
I mean, when I was a kid at the old Richfield Coliseum, we get there early and go back down by the loading dock, and they had a whole fenced-in area, and people would come up. So I met Mabel back in the day. So probably those 3, just because I really haven't done a whole bunch of meet and greets.
right.
I mean, I have a couple autograph things, like I have a in-package Hillbilly Jim autograph downstairs.
Nice.
But I haven't done a shit ton of the meet and greet deals just because I've not always been fortunate
Right.
enough to do so. So,
Right. Well, Jay and Mikey and I have been very blessed in that we've worked so many indie shows over the years that we've been able to kind of filter them through that process as far as meeting them, back behind the curtain or after a show or before at drinking or whatever the case may be. The stories at Battleground are legendary, but they are true. But they've been changed to protect the innocent. And with that, I'll move to Jay since he's giggling so much. Jay, who are your top 3 you've met? Be careful, you've got friends now. Careful.
Natalia's probably definitely up there.
There you go. Attaboy.
I've had quite a few encounters with her, and she's always been just a sweet sweetheart.
Most definitely.
I'm going to have to go with, this might surprise being on my list, but considering that it was actually a year ago today that I met him, and what a cool cat he was, I'm going to go with Billy Gunn. And the way that he treated Mikey there when he gave him his book.
Right.
And my last one is going to be the Hot Rod.
Hang on with Roddy. Absolutely.
No.
I was blessed to have 3 different encounters with him before he passed.
Yep.
The first one wasn't about me. It was about my daughter's mom.
Yeah.
And the last one was all about me.
Right.
And it's just nothing bad I can say about that, man.
Yeah. I'll never forget being in her living room when the news came about Roddy. I'm like, oh, I gotta be on the teller. Oh my god. It's like I'm sitting 2 feet from her, going, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. All right, let's see where Mikey is. See if he can get a good noise level. And Mikey, who are your top 2 or 3 you've met in person?
I apologize.
That's okay.
All right.
You're in
I'm
Vegas,
gonna-
baby.
I'm
It's
gonna
all
go
good.
with- I know it is. Okay, I'm definitely going to go with number 1 being Ashley.
Okay.
That makes sense.
The day Ashley came to our
Casa.
apartment, and that was
Casa,
just
very cool.
that was just a wonderful experience there.
Yep.
And
very
then
cool.
I'm going to go with, even though the day didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I'm going to say Joey Ryan.
Huh. Okay.
Because if Renegade remembers, we got to go to Disneyland together. We actually spent some time at Disneyland together, just in a group.
Right.
And I never knew how much of a Disney person he was.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm probably gonna get a lot of laughs for this. And there are tons of stories I'm going to say the 2 times I got punked by New Jack.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is too funny.
So I would say those are my 3.
Well, considering you got punked by New Jack and didn't get killed, it's definitely a blessing in disguise.
That's right. You live to tell about it.
That's it. JJ and I were around Jack once in a work setting together, and thank God I didn't get to see too much of him. My God. All right.
He was cool as fuck to me both times I met him. Like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, Jack seemed cool. I'm not saying he wasn't cool backstage. It's just you hear all these ungodly stories. Like,
okay, from my personal experience,
right.
it's always either just the flat out ones that are booked as heels, or the ones that you hear the horror stories from,
Right.
that are by and far the nicest guys in the world.
Right.
And New Jack is just one of those guys. Like, you hear the stories about him, but both times that I met him, he was just a cool dude.
Agreed.
You know? And I could just sit here and rattle off heel after heel that I've met that was just awesome. You know, the one encounter I had with Eddie Guerrero.
Nice.
You know, he was backstage. It was the night that Ray defeated Matt Hardy for the Cruiserweight title.
Yep.
Eddie was backstage. The show had ended. And we were on one of the upper inclines in the arena there. We looked down and we saw him. And we hollered down to him. We was like, "Hey, Eddie, would you sign my program?" And he didn't think nothing of it. He was like, "Yeah, toss it down." So I tossed it down to him. And then after he signed it, he was like, "Now, how am I supposed to get it back to you?" So I laid down on the ground. I stretched as far as I could stretch. He jumped, put it into my hand, and that was the end of it.
That's
Eddie
fantastic.
was full-blown heel at the time because he had been feuding with Ray. Didn't think nothing of it. He was like, "Yeah, absolutely. You caught me. I'm going to sign for you."
Yeah, he's always one I'll regret not getting something from, for sure.
Yeah.
Forever.
Definitely.
Okay, now I have a question. I actually have 2 questions I wanted to address because they're both, one's directed mainly toward me, but I'll direct the other one to everybody else first.
Okay.
If you could have a non-alcoholic or a beer or a non-alcoholic drink with any wrestler, who would it be? And Jay, since you're on the screen and you're the primary non-drinker of the group, I will throw to you first since you're already on screen anyway.
Well, since I'm already profiled, I'm gonna give 2. One deceased, one that's still alive.
Okay.
Deceased, if I could have a drink and just sit and talk with anybody, it would be Piper again.
Oh yeah.
Hands down, because I would just love to pick his brain. Like, you go to these meet and greets and you get a couple minutes with them, but you don't really get to have like a full-on chat because it's a cattle call. They got to herd everybody through.
Right.
I would love to sit down for a half hour with the hot rod and just shoot the shit with him.
Right, for sure.
Pick his brain. The other one, the living, would be Raven.
Nice.
Same thing. I'd just love to sit down and pick his brain about the business.
Right.
You figure, he's been from WCW to ECW to WWE to TNA, Ring of Honor, and I'd just love to sit there and get inside his brain. I don't know if I'd ever be able to get back out, but I'd love to try to make that trip.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
2 guys walk in, 1 stumbles out. So, what about you, Colin? Who would you have the drink with? Anybody?
Well, I'm gonna go same format. One living, one dead.
Okay.
And in honor of it actually being 23 years ago today that he passed away, my fellow Ohioan Brian Pillman would be
wow, God, that's right.
Would be my number 1 for deceased. It was between him and Owen, but I mean, if I could sit down with Brian, I'm sure I can get to know Owen just as well.
Right.
But
Right.
and then if I have to go living, I'm gonna go with the Undertaker because
Yes.
that is the one guy. Like I'm 32 years old. I got into wrestling in like late '91, early '92, from like what I remember and seeing pictures and stuff like that. But he's been that one guy that's always been around for the most part. Like 90% of the time, he's been there. You know what I mean? He's not like
Right.
Steve Austin, who hasn't been seen since, March 16th or whatever. It's not like The Rock. It's not like, all these guys that we've watched growing up, because we're all in our 30s. And definitely Taker, because, man, if I could just have a half an hour of that dude's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Especially after that documentary we all watched and teared up for and yada yada.
Yes.
Debut George Strait. But
Right. See. Okay, JJ knows this better. Okay, JJ will understand this because he's been to George Strait where I haven't. Like freaking when Troubadour hits you in the feels like that, just in general as a song, and then the freaking Undertaker retires with Troubadour. I'm like, I'm done. I fucking quit. I just do. I'm over. Okay, wait. There's one. Sorry, Aaron. My bad. One F-bomb. I'm good. All right, I'm good.
But yeah, I mean, like that song is kind of like a. It's made its way into my playlist since I watched the documentary. It's weird. Like I have like this set playlist that I listen to on my way to work, and it's only like 5 songs because I only have an 11-minute drive to work. So,
right.
But still, like, and that's one of them, and it hits at the same area every time, and it's kind of like the openish area of my drive, with just nothing but kind of fields and stuff. So
Nice.
But yeah. Anyways.
All right, Big G. What about you, sir?
I'm gonna do a living first. It would have to be with Ric Flair, to be honest.
Oh my God.
I would. I know we'd be partying it
Big
up.
G.
Yeah, right?
But he can't drink anymore, G.
That's true.
Well,
That's true.
Well, you know what? He can have a non-alcoholic beverage. I can have the beers. He can talk. I can listen.
Get him a nice cranberry juice.
There you go.
That's it. There you go.
And then for deceased, oh man, it would have to be Eddie. I mean, I grew up watching Eddie. Like I said, I got a late start in '99, but I mean, going back watching his older stuff, watching up until he passed away, and then I ain't gonna get emotional here, but every time I hear that song "Here Without You," I think of Eddie.
Oh God, yes.
Three doors down.
Yeah, 3 doors down. I can't hear that damn song.
Time.
I can't. Yeah.
Can't do it.
And the thing is, I've lived in El Paso, Texas, and I've driven by that mural that they had of Eddie.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It hits hard every time I think about it, or
Trust me, I know.
Yeah. So I mean, drinking with Eddie would just be awesome. Drinking shots of tequila and all that other
There
stuff.
you go. Jay, you had your hand up?
Here Without You definitely hit the soul. But for me, the moment that it all became real was when Hurt hit on the Raw episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the one that forever links me to Eddie, because I had gotten I don't know about you guys, but I had gotten the news coming back from a wrestling event in Northern California.
Yeah.
We stopped at my friend's house, and Genesis was live that night, TNA.
Yeah.
And it was the night that Christian debuted, and the Dudleys even did a thing. They had Eddie on their tape or whatever. But for some reason, it didn't sink in until that next night on Raw, when Vince and everybody were on the stage, and then Hurt came on. Johnny Cash, that's
Brutal.
I fell apart.
Yeah, I bet. Yes, sir.
So, since G brought it up, that Here Without You by 3 Doors Down, yesterday, 7 years ago, my best friend passed away in a tragic accident. And after I got the initial phone calls and had to make some phone calls, and it's like 3 a.m, I just put some headphones in, hit shuffle on my phone, and what's the first song that pops up?
Ouch.
That song.
Jesus.
Ouch.
I normally make it until about the 2-minute and 10-second mark before I have to change it. I have to. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Enough of this sappy stuff.
All right. So as far as my list goes,
Yeah, Jeff.
yeah, there you go.
Give us your list.
Now we've totally brought my show to a screeching halt. Jesus. Okay, so deceased would be Ric Flair's liver. Living would. Honestly, this is hard because I've been doing this so long. Like, I mean, Colin's been watching a long time too. You guys all watching a long time. Honestly, the person I would have the drink with deceased would be Bobby, because I just, as much time as I got with Bobby over the interviews and during the plaque giveaway, it wasn't long, sit down, just yak with Bobby. That would be my goal. A half hour would still wouldn't be enough at this point, but that time with Bobby would be amazing. As far as people that are still alive, it's hard to argue with Colin's reasoning, man. The Undertaker. I mean, that guy. It's the Undertaker. You, Colin, and Yuji both were around No DQ when I walked away in 2017 when he originally put the hat down and left. Yeah. Like, I was convinced that the last vestiges of my childhood were now gone. Because everybody was retired, everybody was doing their own thing. Undertaker was the last outlaw, so to speak, and now he was gone. Mm-hmm. So to be able to have somebody, and when you think about it, this day 30 years ago, the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series, which is where he made his debut. So he and I share a year anniversary as far as their big moments in the business, right? So for me to be able to sit down with him for a half hour or an hour of drinks, whatever, would be just fantastic. And now that he's got his signal back squared away, I'm going to go ahead and throw this question too, if we can get him in here. Stat boy. Mikey, if you could have a beer or an alcoholic drink with any wrestler, who would it be? Dead or alive or both?
Well,
and we can't.
There is Stone Cold.
Oh, there you go.
So there's that. But like I say, the go-to the go-to answer is Stone Cold all the time. But honestly, if I really wanted to have a drink with somebody, it would be RVD.
Really?
I wouldn't want to drink with RVD.
I wouldn't want to drink with Rob, but because I have drank with Rob, so yeah, I drank with him many times. So yeah, but
I'm jealous of you.
I'd burn down with Rob.
He's not far from where you are right now, brother. Anyway,
really?
Okay, well, he's in Vegas. Yeah,
I don't think he's the gambling type.
I didn't say he was.
He lives out there, dude.
He lives out there now, man. He's been out there for a couple years now.
Oh.
I'm so jealous that you guys are all like friends and shit with RVD and stuff.
Hey, you know what, Colin? I tell you, man. Honest to God, it took a lot of effort. It took a lot of finagling to get into the door of the comic book store, and then to establish the rapport. And honestly, I happened upon his phone number on a weird chance luck, and I called the number, and it was really him. He goes, dude, come on down to the store, you can interview, do whatever you want. We interviewed him the first time when he was still rehabbing the knee back in 2005. So we've just kind of been going from there. I mean, here we are 15 years later, and we're still cooking with gas. So
yeah,
there
but
you go.
You're in California. I'm like on the ass crack of Lake Erie in Ohio. I mean, we got some cool things come out of Cleveland wrestling wise, but
y'all beat the Cowboys yesterday.
We did beat the Cowboys yesterday, but you are in California and I am in Ohio.
Yes.
So I mean,
hey, sports bar tomorrow.
And, name really one good thing about Ohio?
Cincinnati.
I can't say that.
My dad was born there. That's the only reason I can say that.
My dad was born in Cincinnati, but I actually have another friend named Colin from Cincinnati.
The Browns.
And
right now, anyway.
I mean, right now, yeah, we're 3-1, the first time since 2001. But cool. I was let's see, 2001. I was in 8th grade.
Oh, jeez.
So BFD. I mean,
God,
Babies.
I feel old.
Babies.
I feel
name like one cool thing you come to Ohio for. Oh wait.
Oh, okay, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right, that's actually pretty cool.
There you go.
But
There you go. What's the stupidest thing about that, Colin, is that when Greg and Jen picked me up in Cleveland, when I was heading for their house in Pennsylvania, and I had that horrible layover because of the weather, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is 10 minutes from the goddamn airport. I didn't even know it.
yeah, actually no. Actually, well, what airport did you land at? Burke Lakefront or Hopkins?
Whichever one is closer to the, I forget what the name of it.
Because Burke Lakefront is closer. It's a smaller airport.
Mm-hmm.
Hopkins is actually another like 30 minutes on the other side.
Put it this way, I could walk outside, look down the street, and there it was.
All right, so you were at you were at Lakefront.
Yeah, and it's like, if I known I'd had, because see, the thing is, the weather was so shitty, we got grounded, so they were going to drive from where they were in Pennsylvania to come get me. We figured an hour at most. 4 hours later, they arrived. Like, shit, I got in the Hall of Fame twice. So.
No, geographically, from like where I did, from like where Greg lives to here is it's definitely a couple-hour drive because from where I'm at to Cleveland Hopkins Airport is an hour and 10 minutes,
which is nothing really.
Like if I get on the freeway, if I go left, I'm in Erie, Pennsylvania in an hour.
Yeah.
And if I go right, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. So I'm right smack dab in the middle. But
yeah, the original plan for me when we went back there in 2013 was to go from L.A. to Cleveland to Erie. The plane from Cleveland to Erie got grounded because the weather was so shitty in Erie.
Oh yeah.
So
what time of the year was this?
This is January because I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Dumbass.
That's the worst time of the year, dude. Like
Yeah, it is.
Bad.
It's like going to Vegas in July.
Right, or yeah. God.
Last week it was not a cloud in the sky.
Or June 27th.
80s,
Yeah.
and this
Close
week
enough.
it's mid 50s and rain.
Yeah,
It's 54 degrees out right now. Like
the weather in general the last few years everywhere has been batshit. So, but anyway, the really bad part was because I didn't board that plane in Cleveland to go to Erie. I thought my flight had been whatever, it was just wiped or whatever. I didn't technically cancel the flight. They canceled it for me, which
means
means
you guys know where I am. I just passed a little white wedding chapel.
Nice, fantastic.
100 and stuff.
100 and stuff, baby. So then, what the really funny part is, when I went to go back from Erie, they dropped me off and they left, and my plane I was on the manifest.
Oh shit!
And I've been to the Erie airport. That is the smallest airport.
It's like this big.
It's literally like a size of a Monopoly space.
Yeah, it is like the freaking the Ron White bit. We're here at the Erie Airport Tire Care Center hair salon here, and the fuck, Jesus. And then
houses that are bigger.
Seriously, freaking Matchbox covers I got smaller and bigger than that
Walmart
shit.
parking lots are bigger.
No, for real though, terrible. Oh my God. Testify, that's it. So, instead of the planned route to go back from Erie to Cleveland to L.A., they had to put me on a flight from from Erie to Detroit to L.A., which, granted, much bigger. Well, yeah, I know, but much bigger airport, so I'm not worried about going to Detroit. The thing is, my flight that landed at the Detroit airport was here. My flight to L.A. was here. And I've got maybe 45 minutes.
I've been there. Oh my God.
But by the grace of God, my dad had my Kings Championship ring waiting for me at LAX when I got there. So I gotta get my ring. So I got my ring and everything was good.
Hey, at least it wasn't Denver, because Denver is like
no.
You cross a time zone. I swear to God.
Yeah, we laid over in Denver either on the way to or on the way from. In 2008, when Dad and I went to Orlando for WrestleMania and Disney World that year, 2008. So we were, I think it was either one way or even both ways. Barely there for a minute. We didn't really get to experience the shittiness that was the airport. So we got lucky, I guess.
I was in Denver this year when I was going back to Missouri, and thankfully my flights worked out far apart.
Right. Yeah.
Not too often.
Here we go. I like this question from D. Ross. It's a good question, and I'll go ahead and, since Brian was brought up. If Brian had never left WCW, would Kevin Sullivan and Chris Benoit ever feuded? It's a pretty good question for a milestone moment in history. I don't know. I mean, without Brian to feud with Kevin, you really can't put him with Mongo once Brian went to as a replacement. So you almost have to go to Chris because he's the most intense, and nobody's gonna buy Arn or Rick or Mongo hooking up with Nancy. So I guess not, right?
I mean,
It's an interesting
not.
dynamic.
yeah, it is definitely is a very interesting question. So hats
Yes.
off to you, D. Ross, too. But
Yes, sir.
again, it's one of those things. I feel, how sometimes, especially as of late, we've seen things drop off and they just throw anybody in the feud to replace them with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we had this big ass COVID outbreak in NXT. Next thing you know, Kyle O'Reilly fought for the NXT title last night. I'm not,
good.
I'm not
So
taking
good.
anything away from Kyle O'Reilly, but his status on the card,
Right.
that's what I'm talking about. So,
Right.
I mean, granted, yes, they could have replaced him with somebody. They could have, what if Benoit was never in the Four Horsemen to begin with? What if it was somebody else? So, I mean, that is a kind of catch-22 question in my mind, but I do respect it. And if I had to give an answer, I would say no.
All right. Well, Colin, follow up with you from an earlier question, and this is an interesting comment that I just saw here. Isn't the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Ohio?
I believe it's in Akron, Ohio. Yeah, it is. But
There you go.
I am not a huge football guy. Never
Right.
was. So in my high school, like I've always been a musician. It's always come natural to me, and I would like playing drums more than anything. I was open to playing football if I could do both, but my director would be like, "Yeah, you have to play like the lowest grade instrument possible," and I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that." I am the white Nick Cannon from Drumline. I can't read a sheet, lick anything of sheet music, but if I listen to it once or twice, I'll play it better than anybody else, and I can ad-lib like an MFer. But I always wanted to play football, and if I would have been able to play, because I'm 6'3", 225 pounds. I'm pretty sure I can mess somebody up pretty decently if it would have been given to me.
Right.
But yeah, it is in Akron, Ohio. So
There you go. Akron, I believe, is the home of one of our former No DQ contributors, too, so therefore, for what that's worth. So,
Akron.
has anybody in here besides me met Hogan?
No.
No.
Okay. Because there's a question about when I met Hulk.
I
There's a
met
question about-
Nick.
You met Nick, yeah. Because there's a question about meeting Hulk for the first time, and I'm the only one that can answer that, so I'll go ahead and leave that. I'll leave that one for later when I wrap the show up. Here's a good one. Now, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. That's fine, because there's a lot of stuff, people I wouldn't want to ruffle feathers. Ironclaw 30 says, "Who is the biggest wrestling jerk you ever met?" And I'll since you're on screen, Colin, I'll go and ask you first, or I can move on to somebody else and let you think about it.
I'm going to say Bret Hart.
Wow.
Um,
All right.
Actually, it didn't surprise me. Yeah.
I say this because like I technically didn't meet him, but I was front row at the old Richfield Coliseum,
Mhm.
and he gave the chick next to me, the little girl next to me, his glasses,
Right.
and he looked at me and kind of gave me like the nod and stuff because I had a Bret Hart T-shirt on, for crying out loud.
Right.
When you're rocking like Shawn Michaels stuff, like how can you get the glasses? But just because I was like 4 or 5 years old and he passed me up
All right.
forever,
Thanks a
I
lot.
will always remember that.
Charge has been approved.
So Bret Hart is my answer because you scarred me for life at 5 years old. and I'm the kid in Cleveland, Ohio that had a Canadian flag full size hanging in my bedroom because I love the Hart Foundation so much. But
Right.
it's fine. It's cool.
It's all
whatever.
good. Mr. Williams,
Yes, sir.
you're on the spot.
Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner.
Oh yeah.
Virgil.
And who?
Virgil.
Oh yeah. Fuck Virgil. Seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to go too in depth. I have no desire. Those two encounters are encounters that I try to erase from my memory.
So bad. So
I
both
still
of
have
us.
the
So bad.
photographic evidence of those encounters on my Facebook just because it's pictures with wrestlers.
Right.
But I would rather forget those two.
All right. Mikey, I'm going to move to you next, and then I'm going to mute your mic afterwards because I'm muting your mic for a reason because the background is just noisy. Not your hello, hi.
Yeah. In fact, I was gonna say that my battery's running low and I've got a hotel room to check into. So as far as negative instances, the only one that I can really think of was maybe, I would say Sean O'Hare, because I think we met him at a show and we politely asked him to ask China to come out, and he gave some smart remark and then he stormed off. So that's probably the only one that comes to mind. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to check in, and I'm going to say thanks for having me on the show. And I'm going to say, everybody come to the sports bar tomorrow. It's my big birthday bash, okay?
Happy
Be
birthday,
there, Mikey.
bro.
Happy birthday, brother.
man.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy the Vegas.
Thank you all. Thank you, everybody.
All
Don't
right.
lose all your money.
Right.
I
All
won't.
right. Big G, I'm going to throw to you, and then I'll go unlock the front door for Dylan. So go ahead and do your thing, brother.
Honestly, I haven't met anybody who's been a jerk to me yet, so I don't know. There really hasn't been anybody.
You're lucky.
Who's
You're
the
lucky.
coolest person you met then?
The coolest person, man, trying to think. Lita. I've met Lita.
Because like I know you're in kind of an area where things come through a lot.
Yeah. Well, like I
right?
said, when I was down in Maryland, MCW, when they had their shows, people would come in and stuff like that. I would have paid money to met Sting, but I wasn't going to pay no $100 and $125.
Well,
Yeah,
no, I don't
Goldberg.
blame you on that. I've
I
never
don't
paid
eat-
that
I-
much to meet
no.
somebody.
No, man. Like
So,
you know, I paid $15 for a cameo from Dominic Dijakovic for my son's birthday a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, and I'm like, that's reasonable. But I'm going through there, I'm like, yeah, he doesn't know this guy, doesn't know this guy, doesn't know this guy, doesn't know this guy,
Yeah.
like, you know, this, that, and the other. But yeah, man, that's cool though. But yeah,
We were lucky. In the 5 years we had SummerSlam access out here, the VIP wrestlers that were isolated were only like $50 a head.
yeah. I think that's the most I ever paid. The most I paid to meet somebody at the meet and greets was like $50 tops.
Right.
So,
see, I had all intentions in the world of going to Toronto last summer for SummerSlam and the ODQ meetup and stuff, but
Right.
turns out I was going to be a dad and had things to do here and this, that, and the other. And, you know, I was like, well, between money for a ticket and hotel and having to get my passport, because last time I was in Canada, I didn't have to have one. You know, between that, I was like, it's not, you know, it's like a good $600-700 weekend when I can put it towards things for my daughter that was born in November. But
Yeah.
I would have
Right.
been all over those meet and greets with Noah, because Noah met some sweet people. I mean, Adam Cole, Shayna Baszler, like, I mean, those two alone, you know what I mean?
Right.
Great, but
well,
yeah.
Shayna's on the top list. Shayna's on the top for me right now. So,
Oh, no
Right,
shit,
exactly.
no shit. I wonder why. I wonder why,
That's it.
Mr. King of Spades.
King of Spades, brother. So, as far as my list, there's one person that nobody's gonna know who he is because he was a nobody in wrestling. I couldn't even tell you what name he went by back when I encountered him. But when I went to my first ever indie show in 2003 at XPW, ended up doing a kind of an angle at the show, and I made the error, I own it, of calling a wrestler by their given name rather than their stage name or their name they use more often backstage. I used their given name. And this person proceeded to threaten me with bodily harm And the only reason
Wow.
they didn't is because my co-host at the time bailed me out of the situation. So he's definitely at the top of my list. And I couldn't tell you his name for the life of me, but I will say that the name I remember him as shares a name with a instrument player on a very famous rock and roll band with an appetite. And I'll leave it at that. As far as recently, I mean, Austin Aries was kind of the dick. I mean,
could see that.
Yeah.
I usually give him benefit of the doubt when it comes to heels or whatever because they just come off like that. But he's proven time and time again he's been a cockface. Like he's proven it time and time again. So like whatever.
Let's get that trending. Hashtag cockface.
Hashtag cockface. There's a shirt, Greg Cherry. Make that happen. Oh, by the way, in a conversation with JJ last night, we have to find a way to make the Chia Pet Dwayne Johnson T-shirt a thing. Like we have to. It has to happen, Greg Cherry. So if you're watching, brother, please make it happen. Yeah, definitely give JJ the residual on that because it was all his fault. I remembered it because we were talking about the Survivor Series and it just rolled from there. But I'd say people know Austin Aries is definitely on the list. That's really it. I mean, we like you said, we've been pretty lucky that we've not had a whole lot of douchebaggery over the years. Even working in the Indies, we haven't had it, which has been pleasant. So I guess we've been lucky in that respect that we're not as bad off as some of the other folks. Apparently, the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio. I could have sworn it was Akron.
Canton's close enough.
Right, that's it.
Look, it's literally like it's the same thing. Everyone says the Akron Canton area,
Right.
so
Right.
it's close enough. My bad. Again, I don't really care about football. I already explained this.
That's it.
So
So I'm not sure if you guys saw Big G and Colin before you came in, the very first start of the show, but yeah, there he is.
There you go. Whew.
little Meech.
Little Meech, brother, that's it.
Look at that head of hair.
Shut up!
I know, right? Like,
Shut up.
You got bags, bro. Like they're swooping.
It's awful. It's awful. Same bandana, though. Same do-rag. You got same do-rag. So there you go.
There you go.
It still fits, damn it. Even though I got a fat head now.
That means either that do-rag was very big, or your head didn't grow very much since you were a child. One of the two.
I've always had a big head. That's a Bob Backlund Triple H moment. You have to get it kind of going. Anyway, I understood that reference. Okay, random question, but I'll go ahead and throw it out there for everybody. If you could build your own four horsemen of current superstars from Impact, AEW, or WWE, who makes your faction and why? I'll even throw the NWA into that group too because they're still a prominent thing right now. So.
Well, shit. I mean,
we'll come back to that one. Everybody can use a doodle pad and come back to it later.
Seriously, because like you guys got to remember, I'm not that up to date on the current product.
True.
I don't know
Very true.
who's where.
Very true. All right. Well, let's see. Trying to think of one that we can all answer that'll make sense, I guess. Oh,
I'm gonna try to do some work on this one though.
Go for it. Shane Pinson says, as far as having a drink with somebody, it'd be David Von Erich. That's actually nobody ever said David Von Erich. Nobody said the Von Erichs. I'm surprised because the Von Erichs are pretty popular. Even back it up. The boy is home. There you go. So, all right. Nando says, I met Jamie Noble leaving the Barclays after SummerSlam in Brooklyn, the most recent one. As I was walking to my car with my son, we saw Jamie and we spoke for a few seconds. Jamie Noble's cool people, man. We met him. JJ and I met him for sure out here when he came out to do PWG. He was the Ring of Honor champion. I think he wrestled AJ Styles, if I remember correctly, at that show.
James Gibson.
Yeah, James Gibson. Yeah, so he was really cool. It was awesome. He was really nice. Let's see. Vinny says my top three are Tommy Rich, Bullet Bob, and Ramo. We know what part of the country Vinny's from, don't we?
The only one of those that I've met is Animal, and he was cool.
Yeah, I spoke with Animal a couple times on the phone trying to get an interview together. It never happened, unfortunately. So, hi, bud.
Hi.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to see my little cousin.
Cool. I'll be out in a few. Okay. All right. All right, everybody's home, all is well. Let's see. Mr. Yuck's top is Howard Finkel after the King of the Ring in 96 and Nash outside the Marriott after the Clash of the Champions 96. Wow, that was a busy 96 for you, brother.
Nice, man. That's a
Cool.
cool stack right there.
Let's see. Manuel says, Macho Man. Oh, that would have been cool. Macho. I met him over the phone for an interview. Miz, who we've met a few times, JJ and I especially, and Terry Funk, who I met over the phone too, doing an interview. So
Cool.
Miz
ironically,
is very underrated as a person. He is very chill.
Terry or Miz?
Miz.
Miz is super chill.
I've
Like
been
you
to
would
Mrs.
never
Dad's
expect
Mr.
that.
Hero.
What's that, Colin?
I've been to Mrs. Dad's Mr. Heroes that he owns in Cleveland.
Oh, nice.
He wasn't there. George wasn't there.
Right.
Figures.
Beggars, right? Yeah, Miz. I see Miz a lot at the UPW shows when he worked them, and then when he came back for Access, I want to say it was either 13 or 14. He came back as the Intercontinental Champion, and he had the white strap Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him on this big, huge stage we're doing pictures on, right? And I walked up to him and I said, "We miss you, UPW. We miss you, UPW days, brother." He goes, "You know what? Honestly, dude, so do I." Click, take the picture.
Nice.
I can't find that picture of me with the IC on my shoulder to this day. I don't know where the hell it is. I don't know if Jay just got on his Facebook or whatever, but I can't find it. It's driving me nuts. But that was really cool. Terry, funny. Terry, we got up so early, it was before breakfast Texas time.
Oh, wow.
Because he said, once Vicky calls me in for breakfast, the interview's over. I said, okay. So we were up. My co-host and I, we had to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning out here. It was crazy. And we did the interview straight through. The meal bell rang, and that was it.
Nice.
It's crazy. And then Macho, I've told the story 100 times on this channel. Macho, to this day, is the one wrestler that contacted this house that made my mother mark out. She doesn't ever... When Randy Savage's voice came over our screen on the answer machine, she lost her damn mind. It was so funny.
Nice.
I'll never forget that as long as I live. It was so funny. Ironically, Scott Steiner comes up in the top 3, which is funny. Shane's top 3 that he's met is DDP, Scott, and Bagwell. Were you with me when I met Bagwell in person, Jay?
No, I've never met Buff.
Okay.
You know what? I've met Buff Bagwell once. I think, and I was in Texas still.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, Bagwell was cool to me because we also have a friendship. I've known Mark for 15 years or more now, so that's the difference. Never met Scotty, thank God. Dallas, we actually had Dad's promo out of Dallas back in 11. He cut a promo for Dad's Wrestling, so we'll have to use that once we get we'll have to recontact him once we get the show up and running on Fridays for sure every week, every other week as it is. So, because we went to Frankensons and he cut a great promo. He cut one for us that day, and I think Kazarni did, but it ended up being shitty, so we didn't use it.
Yeah.
I think there was one other person that day. I don't remember who it was now. Mick was going to, but he didn't want to piss Vince off. Same with Molina. He didn't want to piss off management, so he didn't want to touch it. So that was kind of cool. Cleaver, this makes a good point. The best meet and greets are the ones that aren't paid for. I would agree, man. The randomness is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so when I met Ciampa and Riddle,
right.
My stepson bought me tickets to NXT Warren for Christmas because it was January 11th. And when we got there, we went to our assigned seats, which were $30 tickets, $25 tickets each.
Right. And
this guy comes up and asks if we wanted to sit closer and hands me an envelope. And I walk up to someone who worked there and handed it to him. And they escorted us to the heel corner front row.
Wow.
Free tickets, free front row tickets.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
So when Ciampa came down and, after the match, because him and Dijakovic teamed against Balor and Priest. And I kept calling Priest Punishment Martinez the whole time, and he kept looking at me like all mad and shit. It was fun. But afterwards, Ciampa came around, and I got a picture with him. But when Matt Riddle came down, I pulled my phone out so fast I stumbled when he came near Donovan. and he like paused for a second and like was like, "Get it, Dad, don't worry," and like made sure I got the picture of him and my son, you know, doing fist bumps and stuff, like, you know. So, and I didn't pay for that, you know what I mean? Like it was a 45-minute drive for me, and it was a sweet surprise upgrade. And we met a couple sweet people that night. You know, I was within arm's reach of Rhea Ripley. You know, it was a really, really cool, unexpected time. And yeah, you're right, man. The best ones are not paid for. So
they are. Again, it's just the randomness of running into people is what makes it what makes it cool.
But with that, I need to bow out. I'm losing daylight out here.
I see that, yes, sir.
So I'm gonna
Dylan, come on in here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go spend some time with my baby before I gotta put her down for bed.
Absolutely
and stuff.
right.
So,
absolutely.
I'll hang out in the chat, but yeah, you guys
Appreciate
take
that.
it easy.
Colin, thank you for being on, man. I appreciate you being on this whole time. I really appreciate it very much.
Hey, no
Nice
problem.
meeting you, man.
Nice meeting you too, buddy. Go ahead and check out my review of NXT TakeOver 31 on my channel whenever everything is done tonight or whenever you get around to it. So take it easy, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Colin.
Bye.
All right, we got one more guest that wanted to come in and say hello. So let me just make it like that. Come on in. Shaking, brother. Can remember you can't hear them, but they can hear you. Okay.
I can reach from there.
Right, but I'm talking about when Uncle Jay and Big G talk.
Oh, well, why don't you make it so I can hear him?
Because I don't have enough headset equipment yet. I'm working on that.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work that way. Get out of here with that. If you're gonna be out doing that shit, get out of here.
What's up, Nubian?
Uncle Jay says, "What's up, Yubian?"
Not much.
Okay.
Well, I got to see my new cousin, and
That's
Caitlin
cool.
went goth, so.
Well, what else is new?
No, she went emo,
Right.
and she went goth, and she's probably gonna.
Are you sure your aunt and your cousins want them telling tales across shows here?
To the millions.
You're gonna be in trouble here. You're gonna be some major shit here as it is. It's my anniversary, and you're getting me in trouble.
Dead men don't tell tales.
Well, exactly.
Exactly.
Do you want to be dead?
Well, then I wouldn't be telling a tale, would I?
Gotta love 12-year-old logic.
That's part of that Jerome game.
Damn it.
Oh my god.
I want to see questions from me.
There's no questions for you yet.
Well,
You just got here. Settle down, brother.
Barely entered the
People
room.
need questions for Dylan, okay? We need questions for the Patriot fan. The winner. You haven't smelt winning. He hasn't smelt winning since 1990, okay? He hasn't
Five,
smelt
95.
95.
Pipe
He hasn't smelt
bomb.
since 95. It's been 15 years. And the team's going to go 8-8 again.
It's 25, actually.
25. Cheat for the drum. 25. We need questions.
Clearly, we
Kid
know
is
math
big,
is not his strong suit.
Kid is big. I feel old remembering when he was so small. I was never small, really.
Yeah, you were.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
you
like, when
were.
I was still, even when I was young, I was always like one of the tallest in my class.
No. Okay, well, here. Since you came in late, you didn't see this yet, Dylan.
What did I not see?
That's my 9th birthday or whatever it is. Your
What is
birthday.
that face? Oh,
That's what we're celebrating. Today's the 30th anniversary of me becoming a fan.
30th anniversary?
Yep.
Wow. And you were how old?
7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Almost 39.
Yeah. I'll say that to her face.
I've said it to her face.
That's right.
She's almost 40.
Ha
And,
ha!
and you know what? You know what will make you feel old? Caitlin next year can be eligible to get her license.
I know.
Wow.
Trust me.
Did you watch that show I told you to watch?
No, I didn't have a chance. I've been working since you left, pretty much.
You should
All
watch it.
Jeff needs to
I'll do
do
it
to feel old is look at hhis son.
Okay, wait, question.
Yeah, seriously. All I need to do to look old is look to my left here. Like, Jesus Christ.
Seriously. Like, I know you don't have it ready, but all you got to do is freaking bring up that video on the Okasa channel
It was good.
of Dylan
I
reacting
jumped
to
twice.
wrestler
The
entrance
second one, I
theme.
literally jumped from
Okay,
a cat
Dylan,
jumping
I
out.
can't hear both of you when he's talking. He's on the air with me.
Well,
Stop!
I'm-
Stop! No, wait. No. No. What now?
Just saying, all you got to do is go back to that old video on the Casa channel of Dylan impersonating wrestlers at like
Seriously.
5 or 6 years old, and then look at this behemoth standing behind you.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Jay was saying all I need to do to feel old is look at that video on the Costa channel of you doing the wrestlers' entrances with the music.
Oh God, yeah.
When you're like this big.
Yeah, I remember that.
Catherine, who's Catherine Faith? I wonder.
I wonder.
It's a new person. She's commenting quite a bit. Dylan needs a Matt Ryan jersey. No, he doesn't. That's okay.
No. What I need is a Super Bowl 51 jersey and the number that says 28-3. That is what I need. You remember that? You remember that? What about the time that the Cowboys blocked a kick and one guy came rumbling in, touched the ball, ruined their championship run?
Damn!
Oh my god.
You're fired. Go.
I love you.
You too. Hey! Dork. Fuck out of here.
28-3.
All right, come on, Vince. Pull the plug on CM Punk's pipe bomb there.
You're happy about that one.
Close my door.
Jesus H. Christ Almighty.
Oh Lord.
This is why the kids are on the channel, right there. Anyway.
Are you coming in?
Betsy, out. Just don't ask her, make her. She's the dog. You're the human. All right, so
Pipe
now we've
bomb
had that.
after pipe bomb out of that kid.
Shit. All right, so I appreciate your subscription, Catherine. I appreciate you being a fan. I've actually seen you a couple times, randomly once at China's Memorial. Oh, wow. Well, Catherine, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you being a fan of mine and a fan of wrestling. That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool you're a SoCal person. I love it. I appreciate that. Hit me up on Messenger. Let me know if we can chat on Messenger and swap more stories. Adrian says it's like Ray and Dominic. Yeah, no kidding. It's not that far off. It really isn't, because Dominic is like 6 foot whatever and Ray's 5'0".
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Seriously.
It's yeah. We've all been fans long enough. Dominic being on TV is just weird.
It is. It really
Like,
is. And
it's-
now with Aaliyah being on there too.
Yeah, okay, Aaliyah, yeah, that's wrong. Just wrong.
Anytime you see any of those people that are just engraved in your mind as kids,
Right.
Right.
and you see them now, prime example for me is Noelle Foley.
Oh my God, yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I still remember her as that little girl on Beyond the Mat crying because of Daddy's bleeding, the Rock and Foley, at the Rumble. And then I
Yeah.
follow her Instagram and I see the young lady she's grown into, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're that little girl.
Right. It's crazy.
It's the same
It really
thing
is.
with Dominic, One of my random meet and greets, I met Rey Mysterio back when he was in WCW in 2000 when he was unmasked.
Right.
He came out to the Long Beach Arena after the show, and his wife and Dominic, who couldn't have been more than like 2 or 3 at the time,
Yeah, easily.
Oh
was
wow.
like 2 rows in front of me.
Wow.
And so to see that little boy, then when they did the thing with Eddie,
Yeah.
and then, to see
Now.
it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm firmly convinced that what happened at the Royal Rumble 99 with Foley is what messed up Noelle's psyche to make her one date a clown.
It has to be.
Just saying. Something fucked with that little girl's head. And now she's dating a clown.
Oh my god.
We love you, Frank, and we love you, Noelle. We love you both to pieces. We really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially on this channel. Aaron, maybe not so much, but I do. Anyway, I don't care. Okay. I don't think I swore more than once today, right? Did I? If I did, my bad, Aaron.
No.
Sorry.
No,
But
I
you're
know I
good.
let a couple go in the beginning, but I didn't know you were on Aaron's channel as well.
yeah, I'm on Mondays. I'm on Aaron and Greg's channel as well as my own. So I try very hard to curb it, but it's my party. I don't give a damn today. I really.
My
don't.
apologies, Aaron.
He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're getting down to the end of the 2 hours here, which I wasn't expecting to go a full 2, to be honest with you. I figured
Yeah.
we'd be done after an hour. But everybody that came in, Mikey was here, Colin, and then you two. Especially, I thank you guys for being here. It's much
Not a
appreciated.
problem.
The way I met Hulk, the only time I met Hulk to this day, both of you have heard the story, but neither one of you were with me when I had the story happen. I was still living here, and it was in November 2009, so we're a little under a month away from 21 years, which, God almighty. No, 19 years. 19, not 20. 19 years, sorry. Hulk's book was coming out, not the WWF version of his autobiography, but the real one, the white covered one. And he was having a signing down at B Barnes and Noble out near what is CBS Studios out at the Grove. That's what they call it, the Grove of Hollywood, the Grove of LA, whatever, something, the Grove something. And I made it a point that, okay, I'm getting this autograph. I'm making this happen. I will wait all day if I have to. So I was up at what we cool kids call the ass crack of dawn. But long before the sun even peeked its head over to disturb the roosters, and I got dropped off at a bus stop down the hill and went into LA, Hollywood. I was at the Barnes & Noble when they opened up at 9 a.m. The signing was at 7 p.m. So you do the math. I made it a point to purchase a front of the line, extra $25, whatever it was, VIP. That way I was the first person in line to meet Hulk, to make sure I got the book signed and I got some sort of picture. Throughout the course of the day, I ended up doing my entire Christmas shopping down there at the Grove. I bought everybody books because it's Barnes & Noble. I can't go anywhere. Where am I going to go? So my significant other got the entire Twilight series that day. So there you go. Much to her chagrin at the time, and probably still doesn't read out to this day. So whatever. Then at 7 o'clock, or right around 7 o'clock, they started lining up the handicap section because they were going to get the first party because they can't stay long. I said, that's fine. So they lined them up. They went through, handed my camera to the lady, and I looked up, and not only is Hulk there, but Jimmy Hart's there. And Jimmy we had interviewed back in 2003 on Extreme Mayhem, and so I went through the line, and Jimmy kind of looked at me like he had the recognition in his head but wasn't sure, and I mentioned the name, mentioned the show name. Oh yeah, baby, hey, it's good to see you. And we kind of just went off from there. And then I shook Hulk's hand, this big freaking paw, just poof. They got a great picture of me getting the book signed and shaking Hulk's hand. So that was really cool. And we were supposed to, once we got our book signed and out of line, we were supposed to leave and vacate the premises. And a little voice inside me said, just hang tight, Okay. So a little bit later on, I was just kind of wandering, and Jimmy walked over to me in the lull of the crowd, and Jimmy said, hey man, how you been? I said, I've been doing great, Jimmy. You know, what's funny is, I've known you now for 6 years. I don't have one picture of you, and I would love to have a picture of you and I together. So we took a picture, and I was wearing my red Hulkamania, it's still running wild shirt that they sold back in 02, 03 when Hulk first came back. So I got that picture with my Red Angels hat. And you got a great picture with Jimmy there. And again, you think, okay, you got what you came for. You leave. And the little voice said, no, don't leave. Just hang tight. So then when Hulk's getting ready to leave and go through the walkway to the break room to get, kind of detox, get unwound, and then leave, Jimmy hustled over to me and goes, hey, hide right here behind this block, and then when he gets here, just jump out. The worst he can say is no, baby. Okay. So those big tall bookshelf things, like those little standalone bookshelf things.
Yeah.
So I'm crouched down with all of my 200 and who knows how many more pounds down here like this, because the security guard had been riding me. He'd been riding me all day. Like, you gotta go, dude. I'm like, oh. Okay. So I'm not going anywhere. So I crouched down, and Hulk walked by, and right as he got to the point before you have to go into the door to the break room, I jumped out. I said, Hulk, please, brother, one picture. I've been waiting for 19 years for this. He reached that big old paw out. He bring me in. He goes, where's your camera, brother? And I just went, boom. And we took the picture. Looking back, I go, ugh, because the Hulkamania logo was blocked by my bag of books. It's like, God damn it.
Wow.
But that's how I met Hulk. And what was really cool was, after I was done with him, this poor girl who had traveled all the way by bus from Vancouver, Canada,
Holy crap.
Only got the book signed. Didn't get to get her. She had a great shot that she took herself of Hulk from WrestleMania 19 that she wanted autograph, and they wouldn't let her do it because of the contract only said you can only do the book, no pictures, no book, and I jumped out. So she felt so bad. Jimmy must have heard her because Jimmy popped his little rat head out and, hey, where's she at? And I, right here. Come here, baby. She handed him the whole folder. He brought it in. She came back a few minutes later with Hulk's autograph on it for the picture.
Cool.
So that's why Jimmy Hart will always be high on my list of people that rule that ass. I love Jimmy Hart so much.
Jimmy is a class act. I've
He
met
is.
him a couple
Yeah.
of times.
And he's looked 65 for about 55 years. God bless him.
Yeah.
Right.
Seriously, I don't think he's aged a day since WCW ended. Like, I really don't think he has.
I don't think so either.
He's looked 65 since 2000. So,
Yeah.
madness. But yeah, that's my Hulk
So
story.
When you're working in the insane asylum that was WCW at the end, you're gonna age rapidly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Jimmy. I mean, it's funny. I'm watching like 1999 stuff with him and the First Family, and just crazy that he's still around. He's still doing stuff for the company. He's still doing PR stuff. He's still.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually contacted him, asking who I should contact for a project I'm working on, and he led me the name at the office who to talk to. And I said, okay, cool. If he says yes, I'd legally have to have you involved and Hulk involved as well. So I say, he says, honestly, baby, as long as the office approves it, I will do whatever you need me to do. Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
I love Jimmy. I love Jimmy. Jimmy's friend forever. Love him. All right. Well, now we got that all tied up in a nice little bow with my bandit. You know, it's getting hot. Hang on a second. Ugh. My hat. Where's my hat?
Just whatever you do, brother, don't rip the shirt.
Yeah, no. I won't rip this because the only way you can buy it is go to teespring.com. So that you can't. I can't rip it. But yeah, again, just
Shameless plug.
Shameless plugs. Thank you both so much for being on. Thank you to Colin for being on. Thank you to Mikey for being on. Thank you to everybody who commented in the chat room today. I really appreciate you guys being along for the ride. It's been a crazy 30 years. I'm not going to lie. It's been kind of crazy, but I have enjoyed it. I have often reveled in it, often not, but it's been a fun experience to be a fan of something so bananas for 30 years. It's crazy. And we're not done yet this week on the show. Yes, Jay.
I've actually got a question. Since I've been participating in here, clearly I can't be posting questions in the chat room.
Right.
I've got a hard-hitting question for you, Mr. Man.
Oh, okay.
In your 30 years of fandom, what would you consider your highest high as a fan?
Ooh.
Your lowest low as a fan?
Good one. I like that.
Man. Damn.
Put you on the spot.
Not a dog spot, liver spot, my spot. Jesus.
On the hot seat.
Okay. Also, Todd, you can super chat on Aaron's side, not on mine. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're working on that. Okay. Golly. Yes.
Are you still on?
Yeah, I'm still on. What's up?
Oh, I thought you said that you were
1, 2. This on?
Patriots are losing. Patriots are losing 2 field goals down, but I mean.
Well, I'm not going to pick on the Patriots because I'm not that guy yet. When I'm off the air, I will be.
Okay.
Okay.
Say hi to Cam Newton because they have their backup in.
Cam
no
has
idea. Wait,
Cam
what?
tested positive for COVID.
For serious?
Yes.
Cam got the COVID.
Oh, okay.
What's that my shit?
Well, you said look it up. I was trying to look it up.
Not on my phone.
Well, you didn't say where.
Don't you have your own stuff back there?
Yeah, back
Okay.
there. I'm watching the game out here.
Oh.
That boy ain't right.
Out here. Well, my phone's right in front of me if I was watching it there.
I don't know.
I had to cup.
Okay.
I think he texted Dylan so he could get out of answering this question because it's too hard.
No. I got you. Don't worry. Not you. Go. I'm talking to them. I'm trying to answer a question. I'm trying to wrap this damn show up.
But I want to answer more questions. I only had one question, and it wasn't even a question. It was just a statement.
What?
No, remember that you should get a Matt Ryan. I'm like, no, I don't need a Matt Ryan jersey. I want to have questions for you.
There is no questions for you. This is my anniversary show.
I'm your son.
Huh?
I'm your son. And
Okay,
I
and
was born into your family.
when you get to 30 years of fandom, when you're on the fan right now, you can go ahead and be on the show. For now, get out!
I love you.
Yeah, I love you too, but get out anyway. Waka waka! Okay, God. Okay. The lowest of lows was definitely the Benoit thing, without question. Just an awful time. We were looked down on as a community for being wrestling fans. We were down. We were the gum on people's shoes that they scraped off before they entered a 5-star restaurant. We were that low in terms of society. Because of how shitty a thing that happened. Right.
Yeah.
Highest of high as a fan for me, there's been quite a few. I mean, WrestleMania, both the WrestleManias I went to was just an amazing experience, and for completely different reasons. WrestleMania 2000 was my first WrestleMania I ever went to, but I had my good longtime friends with me for that one. 2008, my dad was with me for the whole trip, for Mania, for the Hall of Fame, for
Disney World.
For all that. Now, I will say, if I have to name just one name, and this is going to sound really corny, so I've been a fan for 15 years since then, the 2005 Hall of Fame. Being in that crowd and having that real, raw, genuine reaction to Hulk.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Being a part of that, because people will shit on Hulk a lot. There's no way around ignoring it.
Yeah.
But everybody in that now demolished amphitheater, God bless the Gibson, was a Hulkamaniac that day. There was not a dry eye in those first few rows. When that big mountain of a Big Show is reduced to a slobbering, blubbering idiot like the rest of us.
I remember that.
That's good shit, pal. That's good TV, man. That's ridiculous how mushy you get when you see stuff like that, because... And by the same token, being in the crowd, for me, the highest points for me as a fan are being in the crowd when Hulk Hogan got inducted and Ric Flair got inducted. You can't ask for any two bigger names in my 30 years of fandom than Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, really. It's just awesome. And I hold on to those moments every time I think, is it worth it to keep going? Is it worth it to stay a fan of this bullshit and deal with the bad? It's like, yeah, it is. It is. So. And by the way, hey, y'all in the chat room, behave yourself.
Good answer.
You know who you're talking to. You know who you're talking about. Behave yourself, or I will ban. I don't care which one of you it is. I'll ban you. Give a damn. My show, my time. So, the rest of the week is going to be just crazy over on the Jeff Meacham Network side of things, and we'll get to those plugs right now. Tomorrow, as Statboy mentioned prior to his departure for gambling proceedings, is Statboy Sports Bar. It is his birthday. There's Sylvester and Tweety on the birthday cake, as you see. We're going to talk MLB, NFL, NBA. We're going to even talk Serena Williams and the French Open shenanigans that we have come last week. And yes, the D-Team logo's up there, Jay, because, well, he was part of that as much as any of us. So, and I had to put something there to make the thing look whole and not just looking. So, Wednesday, same time. By the way, Stat Boys is at 3 p.m., 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. The next day, a full recap and review of the United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live. Myself and Todd Kennedy, more than likely Alyssa Marino also will be there, and maybe even a surprise guest or two. We'll see how that goes. That's Wednesday afternoon at 3 Eastern. 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I'll get it right, I promise I will. Thursday, Halloween Havoc month starts on the Jeff Meacham Network for Wrestling Rewind. Cactus Jack versus Big Van Vader from the 1993 version of Halloween Havoc. And if you read Nick's book, I encourage you guys to go back and read Nick's book this week. This chapter about this night alone, he legitimately tries to end his own career. So that shows you how crazy this match is. So I'll leave it at that. And we ran out the week on Friday with Jay and I, the dads, always on wrestling, our top 10 underrated themes of all time. These are the themes that we felt don't get enough recognition, don't get enough love from the wrestling audience en masse. And damn it, they're going to get love this week for sure. So we appreciate all those themes. And
I just want to say there are so many underrated themes that we didn't even touch on. We may have to do a part 2 in 2021.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Put it this way. Our number 10s each were 2 parts.
Oh wow.
We could not use number 10B. Like we had to have them. Yeah. So yeah, it was a fun taping. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So, all right, so that's it. And of course tonight Raw starts in about 7 minutes for you East Coast kids. We love you East Coast kids. Immediately after Raw, of course, is Aaron Riff's full recap and review of Monday Night Raw. That's over at youtube.com/Aaron Riff No DQ. And you can check him out, as well as Big G and everybody on the No DQ side of things at NoDQ.com. There are the links right there. Boom shakalaka, as they say. And let's see what the comment says here before I let go. Doesn't matter. Okay, very good. And let's see what else. I guess that's it. Oh, there you go. Anchor.fm/Championship Network. You can find this show and all my shows every week on the Anchor side of things. Roughly an hour or two after they go live on YouTube, or the premiere is live on YouTube. About an hour or so after that, you get the full length episodes of each and every week on the Championship Network, with the exception of the Wrestling Trivia Challenge, because that is a Greg Cherry brand property. For Big Baller G, for the Renegade himself, for the Cleaver Colin Andrew, for the Birthday Boy, Stat Boy Mike himself, I am Jeff Meacham. Thank you all so much. I love you guys to pieces. Happy anniversary to me. The dog's barking. That's my cue to leave, kids. There goes the phone. Everything's falling apart. Oh, my God. Night, guys.